I've been fortunate enough to work with some of the best customer success managers in the world and have learned a lot from them over the years. So today, I want to share with you the top 6 things that they do to reduce churn. If you stick around until the end, I'll also give you one churn reduction framework that encompasses all of these tips. Ready? Let's go. Tip number 1, know why customers leave. The first thing that every top CSM does is track why customers leave. Now, this might sound super simple and obvious, but you'd be surprised how many companies don't do this. Every time a customer leaves, they should update the reason why in your CRM. This is incredibly important because the way you reduce churn depends on why they're leaving. If you don't know why customers are leaving, you can't fix it. You might think that you know why they're leaving, but if you don't ask them, you're just guessing. Here's what you could do. Every time a customer leaves, send them a survey asking why they're leaving. This could be a simple 3-question survey like this. In fact, when we were at HighSpot, we had a rule that if a customer closed their account without giving us a reason why, we would call them and ask them why. And then we would update the reason why in Salesforce. It's really important to know why customers are leaving so you can address those issues and improve the product or the onboarding process or whatever it might be. Tip number 2, engage proactively. The second thing that top CSMs do is that they don't wait for customers to tell them there's a problem. They engage proactively. What does this mean? Well, let me tell you a quick story. When I was at HighSpot, we had this one enterprise customer who was implementing our sales enablement software across all of their sales offices around the world. And we had this one CSM who was assigned to this customer. So he started engaging with them regularly. He was calling them, having regular meetings with them, sending emails, making sure that they were set up for success. But after a few months, the customer stopped responding to his emails. They stopped taking his calls, so he decided to get creative. He went on LinkedIn and found the director of sales of that company and sent him a message saying, "Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. How are things going?" And the director responded and said, "We're not really using your software that much. It's not really adding the value that we expected." Had this CSM waited another month or 2, this customer would have churned. But because he engaged proactively, he was able to save the account and actually ended up expanding the deal with this customer by introducing them to our customer implementation services team, which helped them implement the software properly across their organization. The point here is that you need to engage with your customers regularly, even if you think everything is going well. If you don't engage proactively, you'll never know when a customer is about to churn. Tip number 3, deliver quick wins. The third thing that top CSMs do is that they make sure that customers get value from the product as quickly as possible. This is called time to value. Customers are more likely to stick around if they start seeing value from your product or service quickly. And what does this look like in practice? Well, let me give you an example. When I was at HighSpot, we had this one customer who was implementing our sales enablement software. They were a large financial services company and they had a very long sales cycle. We wanted to make sure that they got value from our software as quickly as possible, so we assigned a customer success manager to help them implement the software and make sure that they were set up for success. We also gave them access to our customer implementation services team, who helped them map out the implementation plan and make sure that they were on track to roll out the software across their organization. In addition, we gave them access to our Customer Success Academy, where they could learn more about our software and how to use it effectively. As a result, this customer was able to get up and running with our software quickly, and they started seeing value from it almost immediately. They became one of our biggest advocates, and they ended up expanding the deal with us. Tip number 4, build real relationships. The fourth thing that top CSMs do is that they build real relationships with their customers. Customers are more likely to stick around if they have a personal connection with someone at the company. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. but it helps to have a real relationship with your customers. For example, at HighSpot, we always encouraged our CSMS to reach out to their customers on a personal level. This could be something as simple as sending a birthday card or reaching out to see how they're doing on a personal level. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but it helps to build a personal connection with your customers. We also encourage our CSMS to engage with their customers on a regular basis. This could be through regular phone calls or email updates. But it's important to stay top of mind with your customers and build a personal relationship with them. Tip number 5, save at-risk customers. The fifth thing that top CSMs do is that they identify at-risk customers and take action before it's too late. Customers are more likely to churn if they're not getting value from your product or service. So it's important to identify at-risk customers and take action before it's too late. What does this look like in practice? Well, let me give you an example. At HighSpot, we had this one customer who was in the middle of implementing our sales enablement software. We noticed that they had stopped logging into the software and they hadn't engaged with us in a while. So we reached out to them to check in and see how things were going. It turned out that they were having issues with the implementation and they were feeling overwhelmed with the project. We worked with them to get the project back on track and they ended up sticking around. Here's a quick tip on how to identify at-risk customers. Set up an alert in your CRM that will notify you when a customer hasn't logged in for a certain period of time or when a customer hasn't engaged with you in a while. This will help you identify at-risk customers early so you can take action before it's too late. And finally, tip number 6, use data amp automation. The sixth thing that top CSMs do is that they use data and automation to their advantage. There are only 24 hours in a day, and CSMs can't remember every detail about every customer. So it's important to use data and automation to your advantage. This could include using a CRM to track customer data or using automation tools to follow up with leads or customers. By using data and automation, CSMs can focus on building relationships and helping customers succeed. So here's a quick tip on how to use data and automation to your advantage. Set up an automation in your CRM that will notify you when a customer needs to be followed up on. This could be something as simple as a customer hasn't logged in for a week, or a customer hasn't engaged with you in a while. By using automation, you can free up your time to focus on other aspects of your job. So those are the top 6 things that top customer success managers do to reduce churn. Now, I promised you a churn reduction framework, and that's exactly what we're going to cover next. This framework is simple. It's based on the idea that to reduce churn, you need to build relationships, drive product adoption, and ensure customer success. Now let's dive into each of these 3 steps. The first step is to build relationships. To build relationships, you need to engage proactively, deliver quick wins, and be a trusted advisor. This means that you need to engage with your customers regularly, even if you think everything is going well. You need to make sure that customers get value from your product or service quickly, and you need to be a trusted advisor to your customers, which means that you need to understand their business and be able to provide insights and recommendations on how to improve their business. The second step is to drive product adoption. To drive product adoption, you need to onboard customers successfully, expand the product within the customer's organization, and make it easy for customers to get help when they need it. This means that you need to make sure that your customers are set up for success when they first start using your product or service. You need to identify opportunities to expand your product within the customer's organization, and you need to make it easy for customers to get help when they need it. The third step is to ensure customer success. To ensure customer success, you need to understand the customer's goals and objectives, track key metrics, and proactively identify and address issues. This means that you need to take the time to understand what your customers are trying to accomplish. You need to track the key metrics that will help you determine whether or not the customer is successful. And you need to be proactive in identifying and addressing any issues that come up. By following this churn reduction framework, you'll be able to reduce churn and keep your customers happy and engaged. And here's a quick tip. Hold your customers accountable for their success as well. This means that you need to set clear expectations with your customers and work with them to ensure that they are on track to meet those expectations. By holding your customers accountable, you'll be able to ensure that they're successful and that they stick around for the long haul. And that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.